President Donald Trump pays tribute to the victims of September 11th and says all Americans mourn their sacrifice. He spoke today in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the site where Flight 93 went down 19 years ago today.
The heroes of Flight 93 are an everlasting reminder that no matter the danger, no matter the threat, no matter the odds, America will always rise up, stand tall, and fight back.
The president and the first lady traveled together to honor the 3,000 lives lost on September 11th, including the 40 passengers and crew members who brought down Flight 93 so terrorists couldn't use the plane to strike the U.S. Capitol. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden also honored the victims of 9/11 today. He visited Ground Zero in New York before going to Shanksville.
This is a country that never gives up, ever.
The former vice president said it is hard to underestimate the willingness of decent people to lay down their life for their friends. He spent time visiting with families that lost loved ones on Flight 93. Philip Crowther, international affiliate reporter for the Associated Press, joins me now from Shanksville. Philip, welcome back. Good to see you. I know you're at the memorial marking the site where the 40 passengers and crew of Flight 93 lost their lives 19 years ago today. Their bravery saved the lives of others. Give us a sense of the mood there today.
Well, it's been a day of two halves here at the Flight 93 National Memorial and on the streets around it. Because first of all, this morning, this National Memorial was entirely closed because of the visit of President Donald Trump. A lot of his supporters, at least 100 of them, were waiting for his motorcade that never arrived. He came in via the helicopter on the streets outside of this memorial. In the afternoon, as you know, Vice President Joe Biden was here, and at that time, this park, the field you can see behind me where Flight 93 went down 19 years ago today, well, this park was reopened for everybody, and we've seen a lot of visitors here. You can see the visitor center of the National Memorial here just behind me. These are all people who believed it was exactly the right time to come here, of course, to pay tribute to those who lost their lives, 40 passengers and crew on board of this flight who fought back to get control from terrorists while this plane was being flown toward Washington, D.C. A very appropriate time for them to pay tribute. I should also mention that there are a lot of Donald Trump supporters here. This area is an area where Donald Trump is particularly popular, and many of those who were lining the streets earlier came here to visit the memorial later in the day.
Well, Philip, we heard a little bit of what President Donald Trump said this morning in Shanksville. What was his overall message?
Well, I think the most important thing to say is that the anniversary of 9/11 tends to be a day when politics is put to the side, even presidential politics, in an election year like this one with less than 2 months to go before Election Day. And that happened today. Even though both candidates chose to come to the swing state of Pennsylvania, theirs were definitely not political speeches. This was the case for President Trump. It was the case for former Vice President Biden as well. This was, of course, a tribute to the victims and a tribute to the family members as well on behalf of President Trump, and also a tribute to the country, and maybe also in part a warning to those who might want to take on the United States. It was a message of the power of this country as well that he wanted to get across here in Shanksville earlier today.
As mentioned, Joe Biden was also there in Shanksville to honor the lives lost. What did he do while he was there?
Well, it was very low-key. The whole day, in fact, was very quiet and much quieter than past ceremonies. This is, of course, because of the coronavirus pandemic. What we saw from the former vice president was no speech. He gave no speech at the wall of names that is at the bottom of this field here around the village of Shanksville. He simply spoke to some of the family members of victims and spoke with them for quite a long time after laying down a wreath in tribute to them. He then went to the local fire station in Shanksville. Now, this is the town that is closest to this field, and this was also the fire department from which some of the first responders came to the wreckage here. A very low-key visit from Joe Biden, and he did announce this earlier in the morning when he first got on board his plane. He said this day was not going to be about politics, and that has very much been the case.
Well, Philip, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. Philip Crowther, international affiliate reporter for the Associated Press. Thank you again.